So, Kiccha Sudeep, how would you see the Prime Minister's comment today, his message to the party and, of course, to the country, that all Indian languages need to be respected and there is equanimous respect to all languages? First up, let me say namaskara.
Namaskara. No, it's a what do you say, very welcoming line, and it's a bliss to hear it from him. And yeah, it is true. It is true. And it was just long due that before somebody as big as him says a line like that. And I guess it's very welcoming, very warm.
The other thing is, I think the Prime Minister himself, being a Gujarati, has endeavored to speak in the local tongue wherever he's gone across the country. And he's somebody who's also recognized Tamil as the oldest language. He's recognized the depth and the wealth that a lot of the South Indian languages, including Kannada, have. Do you believe that somewhere this respect is also a two-way street? That when there are a lot of South Indians who learn to speak Hindi, we need to see north of the Vindhyas also responding to those who are south of the Vindhyas.
It's just a perception. I just feel that that there shouldn't be any kind of imposing. There shouldn't be an imposive thoughts. You have your liberties. You have your ideas, ideologies. I guess we need to stick to that. And if we have learned certain other languages, that doesn't mean that everybody should learn every other language. So we need to communicate by the end of the day. So we need something. Yeah. So because of which, and also it is not just that. I guess at least me, if you ask me, I had my own reasons to learn because I was a fan of few people and few songs, and I needed to understand. So it just happened. Okay, so I guess these imposing of thoughts was not something which was required. But that again doesn't mean that we were not collaborating. As an industry, from the cinema, if you're asking me, I think we were always collaborating among everyone. All the industries were collaborating. See, these debates were not from the industry. This is from the other sides. And I guess when I spoke about it on a stage, it is in context of something else. That only South Indian films, when we are dubbing into other languages, were considered as pan-India. And they were trying to, each one were thinking that just because we're concentrating on Hindi, it is called pan-India. So it is not like that. We are pan-Indias, even if I'm trying to come from Karnataka, minus Hindi also, if I'm going to Bhojpuri, Marathi, it's still called pan-India. And the Hindi film coming out in South Indian language is also a pan-Indian, but they don't use those terms there. It's just taken for granted that it is only us. So that was the only context, and I guess that was not going down well. But apart from that, I don't think we as cinema from our fraternities have any issues of that sort.
But do you also feel that the rise of the South has happened now in the recent past, with a lot of the South movies are doing very well and somewhere also breaking the language barriers, that you don't actually need to dub them in a different language? People are consuming product, or when they say work from the South, as it is.
Yeah, it is
true. Do you believe that South is getting its due now?
No, I think people who deserve are getting their due. I don't think it's got anything to do with South and North here, sir. That is wrong for us. At least I wouldn't want to think that way. See, now if you say that South finally is getting its due, no, it's not like there never was a battle of that sort. See, whoever does well will get his due. It's just that there was no platform. From a couple of years now, I think it just so happened that people are willing to watch other languages. They're welcoming the dubbing. They're welcoming everything into the theaters. It was only stuck to satellites for a couple of years, till a couple of years back. Now it's hitting the theaters. So I guess it's just the reach is different. People's insight into cinema is different. Approach is different. So that's all it is. It was a matter of time that things changed. It's got nothing to do with just because our films are doing well. A couple of our films are doing. Not all films are doing well again. It's good films that's doing well, and I guess because of that, looking down on certain other industries is not right.
But was the South film industry looked down upon at a point in time? There have been voices from the Telugu film industry, from other voices, and I think a lot of those people also who have said that in the past they've had to bear the brunt of representing the South of India when they went to the Hindi film industry. There are many in the Hindi film industry who don't like the name Bollywood, but I'm just telling you, I'm asking you, have you faced that?
To a certain extent, I would say these kind of differences or discriminations do not come from within the industry.
Okay.
It is from probably platforms created Like, for example, if you take an award ceremony, they have one for Hindi, then all South put together, they have from the same domain, they have one. So yeah, the discriminations come from there. Apart from that, there's I wouldn't say that industry per se. So these things keep happening. I guess it's just the third party who's been making everybody feel that way. I guess it's a time that people realize. And I guess why can't you have award ceremonies for all languages put together and one cinema, one good hero? So they just put one Hindi separate and South separate. I guess that is what is happening, and that makes you. That is where the split is coming up from.
Yeah, and that's where the wedges happen, because then the perception is that this is one group and that everything is together as another entity. And you're saying that this is not from within the industry, but those who've seen the industry or try to.
For example, if you take a national awards or anything, so they collaborate, right? I mean, they see every language under one domain and they give you the award.
Yeah.
So what happens when a Filmfare award happens or anything of that sort? There's always two batches.
Correct.
So I'm still not able to understand that. I wouldn't say I don't want to judge whether they're right, wrong, or whatever. But there's always two parts. One part is there, and one part is all of those things put together. So this is where it's all starting from. I don't think, but today also when we meet the Hindi people or they meet us or we meet Telugu, Tamil, I don't think we have such problems with us. We always, I think we only carry respect and love towards each other's cinema. We learn from each other's cinema. I guess we always are cordial. We meet with a smile only. We don't meet with a... So, and we don't have a problem when if the other actor or a director or a producer doesn't know a language, we try to communicate through their language, or probably we speak a third language altogether. As long as we know that what we're trying to communicate is communicated.
Correct. So let me come to that point where we say that we have one which is our mother tongue, which is our matrabhasha. Then the other one is what everybody would say is the lingua franca, or the language where you would communicate with somebody else from the same country, and would be common language of communication. There is a thought process which says that should be a Bharatiya language or an Indian language, and it should not be English. Because along with English comes a certain, colonial mindset, which actually moves us away from what is our sabhyata, our Sanskriti. So they say that let's look at a bhasha which is Hindustani, not necessarily Hindi, but Hindi with a, addition of a lot of other Indian languages, and a language which becomes our lingua franca. What's your thought process?
So I guess we all have accepted what it is, and we all have, developed a certain style of living, and that includes the language also. We just know we are speaking, from here, and from here we are all belonging to the same country. Okay, that cannot change. And from there, when I say mother tongue, as how you put across in a question, yes, that is my language. We are thinking also is in that language. It comes. It's natural. Now, the debate of what you're trying to say is just a debate, sir, as in and who's raising these debates? Who are those people who are raising these debates that we need this, we need that? But if you actually ask a local person out there, I think each one is trying to sort out their lives. There are plenty of other issues for the survival and for the betterment of the country. This is just a small topic. All the citizens in this country are communicating very well what they want to. All right, so I guess it is not within us. These topics are coming from where other domains for their own purposes and reasons, not us.
No, because this is what our founding fathers also envisaged. The likes of Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore also realized that we as a nation needed to have one language which would link us all, because the concept of nationhood arrives and you come to it when you speak one language with which you can communicate with everybody. Now, English was one of the official languages, and the other one was Hindi or Hindustani, not even pure Hindi, Hindustani. Yeah. And Mahatma Gandhi was a Gujarati, and Rabindranath Tagore was a Bengali. With no disrespect to individual languages, they thought that a language which will assimilate all of us together has to be our own language from this country, not something which has been left behind by the colonizers. So that's where the thought process came, and it was discussed in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then of course you know what happened in Tamil Nadu and politics with two languages, and that's playing out in Karnataka also now, saying Kannada and English only, no Hindi. So this resistance is also happening. So that is the larger philosophy, which says that if I have to be able to communicate with a fellow Indian from another state, another region, should I look at a foreign language or should I have an Indian language which connects us all? That's the larger thought process. So it's not, I'm not even getting into politics. It's a larger civilizational nationhood question.
We both are communicating in English right now. I guess this answers it
Quite
all. And I guess your question has all the answers needed. There's nothing for me to speak on this particular topic because I guess whatever the whole nation sees, like for example today when the Prime Minister makes a line, we welcome it. I think if everybody knows what they want and they have the rights to choose what they want. But again, these small things have come only when we have everybody, it's just not us, have found a little thread coming towards their particular language. Yeah. See, we all can coexist, right? Everything can be respected, everything can coexist. And I think whatever has to, if there is a nation decides, okay, there has to be one neutral thing, it is going to be that. But that doesn't take you away from your own language and fighting, or probably for your if when the respect thing comes. So I guess only one thing I strongly believe is we shouldn't impose something.
Correct.
Impose even an idea. Even see when you're sitting in for if 5 of you as a family go to a hotel. See, 5 of you will order 5 different things, maybe. Yeah. Some of you may share certain things. You can't impose, like, you've got to eat this, you've got to eat that. I guess we are all born, and I guess we will learn how to lead our life, and we will learn how to speak as well.
No, I agree with you. It cannot be imposed because it's a two-way street. So when I meet a Kiccha Sudeep and I say Namaskara, Chennagidara Kichcha, then you will turn around and perhaps also turn around and say Namaste, aap kaise hain? So that's it's because you realize that somebody is respecting your language and trying to understand your culture and where you come from.
The first of all, the respect and love is understood by the way you're looking at me, sir. I think the moment you say that, whether you speak even in a Japanese, I know that you're trying to say something nice to me. So I guess it all boils down to the fact that, when people smile at you, you only know to smile at them. When people say I love you, you'll only say I love you too. And when people get angry, first time we will ignore, and second time around, I guess, we will also try and tell you it's not okay.
Correct.
So you tell me, why will you be angry or harsh with somebody who respects you? And I hope you got my point. When people are nice and people are cordial, it's okay, sir. Even if you don't understand our languages, trust me, you speak your own language, I speak my own language. I'm still sure we can still have a conversation of at least 10 minutes and try to understand what we are. I think we are all very strong from here, all the people. I guess we know how to deal with situations, how to communicate. Even if there is no language, we still know how to communicate.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, because when you show the effort and the other person understands the effort, then automatically it becomes easy. This is true. My final question, you think we should learn to speak more of our own languages? We all must make an effort to try and speak a little more.
I think, see, effort is something, it's a personality. Effort is a personality. Again, it cannot be taught. Like, for example, even if it's inside your own platform, your own work, your own life, I think it's your own effort, sir. Nobody can teach you to put effort. And if without efforts, I don't think we'll go anywhere. Just forget what we are talking, the topic. Effort is a personality to me. I guess, that cannot be taught. And I think ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳನ್ನ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಹೊರತು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ಬಲವಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಕಲಿಯೋದಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Very well said. Absolutely. That we should speak our language, but never impose what we want to speak on somebody else. So,
sir, I'm trying to say, sir, I'll be very proud of and very happy with my mother and father, sir.
Correct.
How can I tell my neighbor only be proud of my mother and my father and not yours?
Correct. Very well said.
What do I do if I go to my neighbor's house and I see 2 elderly people standing there? I will not think whether it is his parents. I will fall at their feet and take a blessing still, right?
Correct.
Without losing my effort and my dignity in my things. I guess it's just here. Everything is right here.
So very well said, Kiccha Sudeep. And Always a pleasure speaking with people like you, and you must speak a little more often, and it's good, and we
No,
must
sir.
connect more.
Probably I speak well because I speak less.
Lovely speaking with you, Kiccha Sudeep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
Take care, sir. God bless.